If we're ready, I mean, I'd say we just hit it.
I'm ready.
Are we ready? We're ready. All right. There it is.
Finally, some snow in Colorado.
Finally, some snow in Colorado. Dave, you sound a little weird. Where are you today?
I'm up at my parents' house at Redstone, Colorado. So I had planned to ski Aspen Mountain today, but got a less than desirable report from the family about skiing yesterday. So decided not to. Skied Vail yesterday, which we'll talk about in a little bit, was absolutely fantastic. I feel like, as always,
Nice.
it was a powder day. So a great, not first day of the year, but second day of the year. But first day of the year didn't pan out too well either. Overall, good day. But yeah, we're going to go hit the Glenwood Springs pool today.
Ooh, nice.
So probably the next best thing to do up here besides ski one of the Aspen Mountains.
You know, I don't know if I've actually been there in the winter, which is a shame of mine. I've only been there in the heat of summer. So I bet that's wonderful. That's going to be a good time.
I've never gone to any of the hot springs anywhere.
Wow. I don't know if this is like the first main one you should see, but you should see it. It is.
Yeah.
It's impressive. It's big.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think you can still take a train there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
You sure can.
Yeah.
You can take a train and it goes, you could take a train and it's walking distance from the train station to the Glenwood Springs pool. So
That's cool.
Great area. There is a fair amount of snow on the ground, but we'll talk more about ski conditions. But my father, 87 years old, and my sister and my brother-in-law skied Aspen Mountain yesterday and waited in almost a 45-minute gondola line just to get on the gondola at the beginning of the day, which happens this time of year when there's not a lot open. But then they just said the conditions deteriorated really fast. And by the end of the day, they said there was lots of obstacles and things like that. So decided to pass on skiing today, but we'll probably go skiing back in Summit County tomorrow, which I think has done a little bit better.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it took so long to get any snow, period. I mean, especially the Denver Boulder side of the mountains, but even the mountains haven't gotten caked with it yet.
It is like a perfect storm for the lift line issues because people are waiting, they're waiting. And then as soon as there's something, it's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Especially in the Front Range, you know, like when you feel snow at your house, everyone's like, let's go. And then one lift open.
Fresh snow doesn't mean new chairs, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it's a lot of snow. I did see on the on the snow with the weather reports, everything's over 100% average. Like Eldora's at 132% average for this day.
And
that seems like a lie.
What percent? what percent of average was everything a week ago?
Oh, that's a great question. It doesn't have like historical data to it.
That would have been
Copper's
interesting.
116. It's a really cool stat that On Your Snow does.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is on here. Let's see what Vail's at. 109. So everything.
I thought Copper was the big winner from this last storm with 22 inches.
Yeah.
With this weekend storm.
Nice.
And it's not like an exceptional amount of snow, but because it's been so dry. And then one of the things that makes everything busy is when weather makes the news, and because there's been no snow, weather makes the news. So it was a busy weekend in the high country for sure.
How was, I mean, I know we have this listed later, but I feel like that's a perfect segue. How was I-70? The great road that is I-70.
So all in all, I-70 was good. It was slick. It was. I drove up Sunday morning. We left my house in Sugarloaf at 5 a.m., swung by the office, and we were on the road in Boulder at about 5:20, which got us on I-70 at about 10 after 6:15 maybe, which is, we've always said, get on I-70 by 6 a.m. It was heavy traffic, but we didn't get stuck. It was a 2-hour drive. So all in all, no complaints. The one big complaint I did have is any of the congestion was caused by semis without chains. And I know we've beaten this dead horse before, but the biggest issue with I-70 is semi trucks without change and the lack of enforcement from state patrol. Less than half of all the semis had chains on them. And we saw one state patrol vehicle on the Frisco side of Eisenhower Tunnel, which was in a position to, do enforcement, but didn't look like it was. So that was a little disappointing to see. And if you live in Colorado, they just passed a new law to turn the screws on rental cars have to have snow tires. And I don't think that's a bad idea, but that's not the problem. Obviously, the semis are the problem. But all in all, we got up there good. It was slick, though. You definitely needed four-wheel drive and snow tires, or you would have been in the sticks.
Yeah.
I have a solution.
All right.
We build an app where you can self-report semis. They all have numbers on the outside, a photo of the no chains, a photo of the numbers, and you submit it, and then it goes to the state police for review. And this is how we fix this problem.
Yeah.
Again, we don't want to talk about I-70 all day, but any enforcement at all would solve the problem. But
any level.
when you see like the pull-offs, where a lot of times they spend the night, and it was a 2.5 day blizzard, and I was on the end of it, and most of the semis in those pull-offs don't have chains. They got there without chains. You could just go through there and write tickets because they went past the chain up area a half hour ago and didn't chain up. So disappointing, but it didn't affect our day. We drive a well-equipped four-wheel drive with snow tires. So I did have to pull over and put it in four-wheel drive. I have a car that has to be going 5 miles an hour to go into four-wheel drive. So I did have to put it into four-wheel drive. Much different weather in the high country than in the Denver metro area.
Yeah. I mean, there's still snow on the ground, but it's quickly melting.
Yeah, it's going to be in the 50s today.
Yeah.
So whatever's left is...
Yeah, and up here also in Redstone, Colorado at like 7,500 feet, and it's pouring off the deck. It's melting fast. So Marcus, I hear you so we all went, or me and Ryan went up to Eldora last week, and it was the second coldest day I think I've ever skied. We made 2 runs and had to call it a day because of the wind and the fact that the lift was running at half speed. Nothing critical towards Eldora on that. It's a safety issue, and it was just cold. But and Marcus, I know you went to Eldora last week, but the one thing I wanted to ask is, did you see a ton of people straight lining?
Man, so many. I saw your note and I added that to mine too. It's like it was all straight lining. And then the part that really frustrated me, I'm assuming this wasn't true for y'all because I went the day after y'all on Friday. There was a ton of new skiers learning, which is really exciting. I like to see new people getting into the sport. But then you combine that with people straight lining. I was on the edge of the run because, that's obviously where the snow is. And the guy went between me and a tree, like just full out straight lining. It made me so angry to watch.
I was surprised when we went up there that, and again, we only did 2 runs, but I saw like 4 people each time, full blown, no turns, straight lining, and similar to I-70 traffic enforcement, 0 enforcement.
Yeah. I even saw mountain safety up there and never once, I saw people straight line past mountain safety and nothing.
That's weird because they're usually pretty, on the weekends at least, they're usually rock solid about making a presence.
Maybe the level of straight lining, I don't know, maybe they were waiting for someone specific, so they let that guy go. And maybe they radioed it down rather than trying to catch a straight liner. Hey, the dude in the red jacket is straight lining. Get him.
The Grateful Dead jacket.
Yeah. I was, of everything that day being the second coldest day I've ever skied in 50 some years of skiing, that was probably the biggest surprise that it's something that's really easy to solve. The fact of the matter is you'd give somebody a rest break for straight lining, they're not going to do it anymore. But as long as they can do it lap after lap.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, it's not because I'm 56 years old. I'm a good skier, but going 60, 70 miles an hour on a blue square is not appropriate unless you're the only person on the mountain.
Yeah. And for me, it really bothered me with like so obviously so many new skiers that it's like, don't do that because they don't have control and they don't have control. You need to be protecting them as well.
Most of the straight liners do not have control. I assume there are some straight liners that probably do have control, but most of the people you see straight lining do not have control.
Yeah, totally.
How was it other than that? Like I said, our day was awful.
My day was actually really good. It was not too terribly cold. It was windy on top, obviously, because it's Eldora, but it snowed the entire time I was there. I have a new electric vehicle, and so I got literal front row parking, charged about 8% while I skied for 2.5 hours. It was
I love that.
crowded, but not like packed. So the singles line took about 2 minutes, and then there was enough space on the hill that you could still have fun. But there's only 4 runs, so it kind of got boring. And then I am not in ski shape, so I did about 8,000 vertical and was like, I can't make it to 10. I gotta go.
That's the thing I learned. Even in our
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
our 2 runs was, I am not.
Yeah.
My cardio is fine, but my legs were not in ski shape at all.
Yeah, my quads were burning for sure, but it was a ton of fun still. Like, and it had snowed the day that y'all went, and then it kept snowing all day the day I went. And so I was skiing powder. It was
Sweet.
Awesome. Like, I wouldn't say anything
you had
was
good
untracked,
conditions.
but I had really, really good conditions. Very little ice,
Nice.
and you could spot it, ice patches,
Ours were variable. The sides were fine, but the second you like popped out,
Oh, yeah.
you didn't know if it was going to be slippery or solid.
I could see that still being the case the day I went because there was enough people to ski off the powder, but I stayed on the sides the whole time because I knew that that's where they were pushing all their powder to. And it was great.
Nice. And you got new skis and new boots. How did that all work out?
I got new boots on Thursday, but I left them to get mounted with my new skis. So I picked them up yesterday. I haven't skied on the new boots or skis yet.
Ah, okay.
So I'm really pumped. They're 120s. They're K2 120s, and they are in store. They were the most comfortable thing. Like I tried on probably 6 pairs that day, and these ones I was worried that they were a size too big. That's how comfortable they were. Talked through with the guy, and he's like, "Well, is your heel coming off? No. Are you moving side to side? No." It's like, okay, well then it might just be properly shaped. So I'm really excited to get out on the slope and actually put them under pressure and see if they are right sized. And I can ski on them 3 days and take them back if they're not the right fit. So I'm
That's
pumped.
awesome.
And just in case anybody's listening, when Marcus says 120s, he's talking about the stiffness rating.
Yeah,
And I think you probably came from a boot that was probably like a 90.
correct. Yeah, I went from a 90 stiffness to now a 120, and I'm really excited to see what that does for me. I noticed on Friday when I skied, I was paying attention, and since not a lot of runs are open, I was really focused on form and trying to make sure I'm out over my tips, like leaned forward, planting poles. And I noticed a lot of movement in my feet that I hadn't really paid attention to before. If I leaned forward, I felt my heel coming up. And I was like, that's not something I'd ever really paid attention to before, which is probably why I've always skied back, like in my seat, because I felt like I was coming out of my boot. And so I'm hoping these new boots, not only the stiffness is going to help, but hopefully they're more properly fitted, and I feel more secure, and I can increase my quality of skiing. So very excited.
And for everybody that's listening, like stiffness is essentially a preference. Like when, just going up in stiffness isn't necessarily going to make you a better skier, although the more aggressive of a skier you are, typically likes a stiffer boot, which would be a 120 or a 130. But don't let somebody tell you you need a stiffer boot. You got to go with what works for you. And it's different for everybody. And for what kind of skiing you do, like
Yeah.
backcountry boots are typically not as stiff intentionally, so you have that flexibility. But I think Marcus is a bigger guy like myself, and so going up to a stiffer boot is going to provide a little more contact and connection with the snow rather than the boot taking some of that out.
Yeah. And I noticed last year, I feel like last year is whenever I started paying attention to the quality of my skiing versus just where I could make it work. And I started focusing on skill level, and I started noticing that my boots, I didn't feel as secure in them because I'd put my weight forward and they'd been their 90s. And I'm excited to have a stiffer boot now to put a little bit more of that weight into those turns and see what it does for me.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
it'll make a big difference.
Yeah,
and I think you'll be happy that you know, they're expensive.
Yeah.
But if you get the right boot, they last a long time. And
Yeah.
What'd you pay for new boots?
The boots were $800.
Yeah, skiing's expensive. I
Yeah,
mean, we've tried to give people tips on how to get around it, but if you're gonna blow some money on anything, it's boots.
Yeah.
That's the one piece of equipment. I mean, yeah, you can't ski on skis that don't have edges, and you can't ski on bindings that don't hold you in. There's lots of things that matter, but boots are by far the most important piece of equipment.
And I took a gamble and bought those Solomon boots kind of sight unseen, and I wore them around the house for about 2 hours this weekend while I was actually cutting the skins and waxing my new skis because I got my new skis back from the shop, and they're great.
Nice.
They were tight and there's some pinch points, but then after your feet get hot and started sweating in them, they're fine.
Nice.
So I think I got
Nice.
lucky because they were only like $300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what was so interesting. My first pair of skis, I had them heat molded whenever I got, or not skis, sorry, boots. I had them heat molded, and there was still a little bit of a pressure point, and it was okay. And I constantly would talk about, especially as I started like clamping them down a little tighter, because I was skiing more aggressively, it would start cutting off circulation
And you get cold toes.
And these ones I put on, and whenever I say I was worried that they couldn't be the right size because of how comfortable they were, I literally was like 0 pressure points, but also like 0 movement.
Yeah.
They are the most comfortable boots I've ever put on. And I'm hoping that that doesn't translate into looseness on the mountain. But if it doesn't, like I didn't have to have them heat molded. The guy was like, "Do you want to heat?" I was like, "No, absolutely not. These are comfortable. If you heat mold them, they might get worse."
Yeah.
So I'm very hopeful for them. I'm really excited to try them out. Hopefully today.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah, boots are, we said it time and time again, are absolutely important. In fact, I'm probably 1 year away from needing new boots, and it's not something that you look forward to once you have a pair of boots that work,
Yeah.
but they do get worn out. I think boots for me last about 5 seasons, typically.
Mm.
So I'll be looking at new boots, maybe, hopefully not next year, but maybe.
Yeah. And then you and Ryan
They're finding a
both
brand
got-
that works.
Oh, yeah. Which you use Nordica, right?
I ski on Nordica, and I have for 20 years. And I just got a pair of Nordicas at one point. And what I mean by having a brand is important. It makes it easier to find your next pair of boots. For example, with my Nordicas, when I took them into the shop to get my skis mounted, the tech said he understood what the newer model of my boot was. And as I said, I'm not interested in new boots this year, but I'll be able to go in and say, what's the newer model of this boot? So I'm not like starting from scratch and trying to figure out, like, does this length, do I have a Lang foot, or,
Yeah.
does this boot work for me? So he said there's like an upgraded model to the kind of boots I ski on, which is it's a race type boot made for recreation. So it's super stiff and not a lot of bells and whistles.
Nice. And then you and Ryan both got new skis, right? Have you skied on them yet?
I have not. I just got them back Friday, and then I didn't want to fight the crowds this weekend.
Fair.
So hopefully this week which they're my new uphill setup. And speaking of uphill, Eldora's uphill open today.
Nice.
Yep.
I saw that today.
Yeah,
And
limited access.
and,
So 7 to 9, you can't uphill during operation hours. But as long as you're on Jolly Jug,
yeah.
one of them by 9 a.m. going up, you're fine.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So
I'm not a big fan of the early morning stuff unless you're going up to a chairlift to get first tracks or something like that. And they said in coming days they're going to open it during the day, but right now it's just the uphill.
Okay.
And a reminder to skiers, if you're going to do uphill at Eldora, you got to get an uphill pass. It's free if you have a Eldora season pass or if you have an Icon pass, but you still have to register and assign the waiver essentially. So, and then if you don't have any kind of pass at Eldora, but you want to uphill, it's $99.
yeah, and they said for the first week they're opening the pass ticket window at 6:45, so you can get there
Oh, nice. That's
early
good.
and pick up
Get
your
it and
pack,
be ready
get your
to go.
armband, and get on the hill by 7.
Nice. Dave, have you skied
I need to
in
remember to do that the next time I go up.
Have you skied in your new ones, your new skis?
So I did. So we talked a little bit. I left at 5 a.m., did the I-70 thing, got to Vail, and Vail just did Vail. It was fantastic. It was an actual powder day. They reported 8, but there was some of that fell the day before, so there was maybe 4. But I got a new pair of bench shelter 90 underfoot, so the skinniest skis I've skied on in 20 years. And they're going to be okay. They did not like powder over about 5 or 6 inches.
Oh, yeah.
But on the groomers and stuff, and that's what I got them for. I bought them as a front side ski. I made the mistake of bringing them as my only ski because otherwise I would have went up to Marble today and done some backcountry skiing, just some skinning.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a good ski. The one thing I kind of bought them sight unseen, and I didn't really do my research. I bought them as I do everything on price, and they have tips for the tails, and I understand what that's for is skiing backwards tricks, stuff like that.
Oh,
They're
okay.
more of a park ski, and I don't do park. But the thing that caught me off guard was the first time I got on the gondola. They don't fit in the slot
Oh, really?
because the tails have tips.
You got to separate
So I
them.
figured out a method to get them in there, and you have to kind of bend one and then slam them in. So it's not going to be a big deal. They're going to be great. I'll bet it would have been a great day up on hard packed snow at Ajax today.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be great on hard packed snow. They really turn. But back to Vail, got on the gondola first thing in the morning, rode it up, rode Avante up, and then got to ski a couple runs off Avante and break tracks. So spectacular, great way to start the day. Most of the runs on chair 3 and 4 are open and good coverage. I was a little surprised, like Lukma was open, which had bad coverage. And then as far as lift lines go, it wasn't too bad. You know, we hate lift lines, so we didn't really wait in any lift lines all day, but we had to choose between chair 3 and 4 strategically and what side of the line to go in to avoid the lift lines. And then at the end of the day, we skied down the mountain, and that's when we realized that you couldn't ski back to gondola 1 because the bottom of the mountain was closed. And so
Oh.
it sent us over to the other gondola, and that's about a mile away from the parking lot. And we had to leave early to come over to Aspen for my mom's birthday. And we're kind of stuck at that other gondola. I can't remember what that one's called, but it's the one not at Lion's Head, but the one over by the Eagle Bond and stuff. So there's a guy in a let me help you outfit, and his name was Bob. And Bob, how do we get back to our cars or shuttle, or what direction do we walk? And he said, nah, you gotta ride the chair up and download on gondola 1. And I know downloading isn't a big deal, but I've done it like twice in my whole life. And one time is when I skied at Aspen Mountain in May. So It was a little bit of a humiliating end to the day. They might have done a better job of letting us, but it wouldn't change my mind from parking over by Gondola 1, just because it was no lift lines. And something that I thought was super interesting is it says it opens at 9 and they started letting people on at 8:45, and you don't see that often.
Interesting. Yeah.
Where they send people up the mountain early, but I would give the conditions an A+. Not a lot open, like I said, chair 3 and 4, chair 2, which is Avante, and both gondolas were open, and you could ski to the bottom if you went over to the gondola. Like, again, I think, is it called the Eagle Bond gondola or something like that? I rarely ski over there is why.
Yeah.
But there weren't really any lift lines, and chair 3 and 4, the skiing was excellent. Really well done. And even like the buckhorn trees were open, but I didn't go into the buckhorn trees due to the fact I was skiing on brand new skis.
Yeah. Smart.
How
And it is Eagle Bond.
how did your wife hold up?
Yeah. Great. I mean, you guys hear me every podcast, blah, 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 Vail. There's no place like it. But when the snow is that good, there's really no ski strike or anything like that takes place because the snow was 9 out of 10. I mean, I would have loved to have gone and skied more terrain and had top to bottom skiing available. But, and I do expect that
It's coming.
top to bottom skiing is going to be open any day because they were blowing snow on Born Free, which is how you get back down to Gondola 1.
It's on its way. We're not far.
Yeah.
From real skiing.
And of course, we had breakfast at the tavern, which was kind of
Nice.
expensive. I think it's early season stuff, but both the parking and the breakfast were $15 less than usual.
Interesting.
And I think it's just early season stuff.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
that was great. And my wife loves to eat there because they have, like, not an exaggeration here, like 15 different kinds of gluten-free pastries.
That's impressive.
Like gluten-free donuts, gluten-free cinnamon rolls, gluten-free scones.
Gluten-free donuts are hard to
and
find.
so, yeah. So I know it's just a repeat of every time I talked about Vail last year, but the tavern, get up there in time to hit the tavern at 7:30 and get ready to get in line by like 8:30, 8:45 and enjoy a great day. So, and kudos to the guy, Bob, the mountain information guy, giving us good advice, because later I just mapped out the walk and it was about a mile from the Eagle Bond gondola to our car. So that would have sucked in ski boots.
That'll cause ski strike.
Yeah, that would
days.
have caused ski strike for me.
Yeah.
I have a heel injury that it didn't affect my skiing, but at the end of the day, I could feel it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that it hurt, but I could feel it.
Well,
So after skiing, we bailed out and we headed over to Aspen. And we went and saw the new Warren Miller movie called Snowciety at the Wheeler Opera House. So
Nice.
if you're familiar with Aspen, the Wheeler Opera House is a legendary theater. I've seen concerts there, and Blues Traveler played there, and blah, blah, blah. They have all kinds of cool stuff going on there. But it was pretty cool. They had some AV issues, which I felt, as people that listen to the podcast know, we're an AV company, and I felt super bad. I wasn't mad, but I felt super bad that they had to restart the film 3 times because of audio issues.
That's such a bummer.
They threw out swag, and what was really funny about the swag toss is we work in events for a living, and one thing we don't want is any more swag. And so everybody stood up to catch the swag except like my wife and myself. And we ended up getting 2 hats and a t-shirt because when you don't jump for it, it just lands in your lap.
That's
so
hilarious.
we gave a lot of the swag away to kids that were in the area.
Awesome.
But I did keep a new Fly Low ski hat, which was
Sick.
much appreciated from our friends at Outside and Warren Miller. The movie itself, it was cool. It's definitely different.
Yeah.
Like, they covered things that you never thought would be in a ski movie. like skiing in Scotland where there's not really snow.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
they covered a women's extreme snowboarding competition in Canada that was pretty cool, looked amazing. But the one thing I wanted to talk about in the movie that was way cool is it was broken into these segments all about different things. One was World Cup ski racing and Breezy Johnson, and like I mentioned, Scotland and the women's snowboarding competition, and a guy that did like rail slides in Finland with his family, which is incredible skier, but not stuff you would really expect in a ski movie. And the final segment was about Ruby Hill in Denver. And if you don't know what Ruby Hill is, it's in the middle of Denver, and Winter Park blows snow, and they build all these terrain features for people to come out and ski that don't have access to skiing and snowboarding. And that
Nice.
part was touching, to say the least, and made me really proud of both Winter Park and Denver for having such a cool, inclusive thing. And you can Google it. It's called the Ruby Hill Rail Yard. Would I recommend going and seeing the movie? Yeah, because it's kind of what you do in skiing. I know Ryan went to the Matchstick Productions movie a couple weeks ago, and it's part of ski culture. Was it my favorite Warren Miller movie ever? No, but I was happy to be a supporter of it, and it was a cool crowd and a cool vibe, and I was there with some hotshot skiers that so happened to be in my family, including my mom, dad, sister, brother-in-law, and my wife. So it was cool. And then we went to the Jerome for dinner,
Oh, nice.
and it was okay.
What?
It was only okay. I don't know if it.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I don't know. It wasn't just me. The whole fam was like, that was okay.
Man.
And burgers for $6 was like $3.50.
Yeah, you're going to pay
So,
that much for burgers. You want it to be exceptional.
Yeah, I'll probably go back to the J Bar again, but it was okay.
Bummer.
I don't like to hear
So-
Yeah.
Anyway, Dylan, I hear the kids got new skis.
The kids got new skis. We're still doing the Larson Ski and Sport rental program, which I've talked about it before, but I still think it's the greatest thing for kids. I can't remember all the details, but it's like $90 for a whole year's worth of rental, and it's like infinite resizing up as they grow as needed. Obviously, they only need that once, maybe a season, but you never know.
Yeah.
You can, we didn't get poles, but if we feel like they grow enough to need poles, we can just go grab them. Like, it's not extra fees or anything. Ryan shaking his head because
No poles.
No poles.
I agree. You're a bad
No
father.
poles.
Like I said, we don't. They were like, you don't need. I mean, they're not even really standing on their own on skis yet. So hopefully we're changing that this year. But then what's cool about it is they think about like the inventory they have of these little 24-inch long skis, and they basically offer like a $10 rebate if you store them over the summer. So it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, we can save the trip to go return them to you and get $10 back, like
For next year's rentals.
for next year's. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So,
just keep them in the garage.
yeah, they just
If you store them.
if I store them, yes, exactly.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And like the kids, they'll go down into the basement in July and be like, I want to try on my skis again. We're like, sure. Like, so man, what an awesome program. They're really knowledgeable with the kids. My youngest, Callan, he's not in the smallest boot ever made, but the second smallest. So he did get a little bigger. Yeah, I'm stoked for him. We're about to go take a 2-day trip to Taos as a family and put them in lessons, and hopefully they come out better for it on the other end.
Nice.
I wish I got to take lessons at Taos when I was a kid. That's sick.
They're super
How are
excited.
they doing on snow down there?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll look it up.
I'm gonna go look.
We grabbed dinner. Dylan, the boys, Kate, Marcus, and I. We went over to Dave and Buster's, and we were talking about their skis, and it made me so happy how stoked they were.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about it for very long, but then everyone got home and Dylan and Kate sent over a photo of the boys holding their skis and their boots. Like, hey, they wanted to show you and Marcus how cool their skis were. And it, like, I don't know, it made me so happy inside because that's what skiing's all about. Like, when I was a little kid, that's what you did. You put your skis on.
Yeah.
And you're just in your bedroom.
Just get excited.
Yeah. I mean, you weren't going skiing for months, but you had your skis. You put them on, took photos of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't be more excited, which, you know, warms my heart, especially, you know, like I got hurt last season. They're not scared. Like they're just ready to get back out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is awesome.
Well, and, you know, Dave, you mentioned Ruby Hill, that's kind of a collaboration between Winter Park and Denver, but also shout out to Winter Park for having that free
Galloping Goose
lift that kids can come and ski on and you don't have to pay for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about this last year that there's a lot of ski areas, or there are some ski areas that have a beginner lift that is free, including Winter Park, but not limited to Winter Park. And, you know, we ought to put together a list of the places that have that. I know we went back and forth whether Vail had it, and I guess I don't know the answer to that.
Taos has 4 lifts, 12 runs. They got 18 inches of snow.
19-inch base, and it looks like they got 2 good snows over the weekend.
It's
very similar to Colorado conditions.
It's going to be okay.
Great ski area. They're going to need some snow, but they have a thing at Taos, if you haven't skied there, called Kachina Peak, which is some of the most advanced skiing in North America. It rates up there with Crested Butte, Jackson Hole, Arapahoe Basin. It's right on par with all of those.
Did you know at Ruby Hill they do free rentals?
Yes, I did. Saw it in the movie last night.
Yeah.
Warren last night.
That's awesome.
And it's volunteer supported. And there's I feel bad I don't remember the guy's name, but there's a leader of all of it that really coordinates all of it and seems like one of the best people in the industry. And I just Googled it this morning, and City of Denver has a page dedicated to it, so you can go read up on it. I don't think it's open yet this year because we haven't had cold enough temperatures to blow a lot of snow in Denver, but it's typically open in January.
Nice. It looks like Beaver Creek also has a free magic carpet area. And then
nice.
You sent me a link from the Icon website, so it's biased toward Icon Mountains, but I didn't know that Aspen Snowmass actually is pretty good too. Kids under 6 are always free.
That's awesome. Which
is huge. That's huge.
Yeah. And then obviously there's some that have really cheap beginner prices, which apparently Loveland obviously is one of the cheaper ones. And they have Loveland Valley for beginners. And then A Basin apparently has a beginner program that's reasonably priced.
I can't say enough good things about the Valley at Loveland. It's beginner centric, and they have their ski racing off to the one side, but pretty much the whole hill is dedicated to beginners, and it's a pretty cool place to go learn.
There is a whole kids ski free week, which is right now actually.
Yeah,
December 6th through the 12th, and kids can ski up to with 7 free lift tickets at various participating destinations, which it's like a whole paragraph of destinations under Icon.
I also
super cool.
Learned just now in this Google search, Epic has Epic School Kids. Registration's already closed for this year, but it'll open in spring for next year. And apparently it's like 4 kids under 12, 4 days of free skiing 5 days of free skiing at like Whistler's on here and several other big ones, like the Colorado Pack. Here we go. Kindergarten through 5th graders provide 4 days of skiing and riding at each of the state's top ranked resorts: Vail, Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Keystone, Crested Butte.
Yeah, rad.
Nice.
So that's pretty sweet.
It's getting people into skiing.
Yeah, love to see it.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, it gets people into skiing, and I've always been grateful that my parents started me off when I was young, and obviously that's what it's all about now. That's what our podcast is about, and and why we all ski, but getting kids started is
It's the reason.
amazing.
It's the reason I know you guys, and I live in Colorado is because of skiing. I moved out here to be a ski bum.
So
Nice.
according to Jim and I, if that's the right or wrong way to do it, but 6 and under is free at Aspen, Snowmass, Monarch Mountain, and Cooper.
Oh,
And
nice.
5 is
Okay.
under free at Telluride, Granby Ranch, Loveland, and Echo Mountain. 4 and under is free at Arapahoe Basin, Vail, Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Keystone. And then I just put in free kid skiing in Colorado. And as a list of the perks, like you guys were talking about, that like at Copper, if you buy an adult season pass, you can get a kid's season pass for free. I assume a lot of that's expired this year because season passes are coming to an end. It's
Yeah.
too late, I believe, to get an Epic pass, and you have a few more days left to get an Icon pass. But you can put that into Gemini or Google and find free places to take your kids skiing,
Why do you think they stopped?
including this week, like you said, free kids ski week.
Yeah.
Why do you think they stopped the sale of Epic and Icon passes? Like, why? I mean, they're big giant corporations. Why wouldn't they sell one in the middle of February if someone wanted to buy one?
I
They
think-
have it figured out to where you either buy it by now or you're going to pay for season tickets or you're not serious, is my guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this. The reason that lift tickets are so outrageous is financially it works better for ski areas to be able to forecast their revenue. And the way
Yeah.
they do that is with season passes. Because if it doesn't snow, and not to scare people because it's going to be a good winter, if it doesn't snow again this winter, they know how much money they're going to make off season passes already.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
getting their money back. I just talked about how great it was at Vail. So Epic's like, you just got your money's worth.
Yeah.
So that's why passes are cheap and tickets are $250, $300. That's a calculated decision. It's not, tickets aren't $300 because of lawyers and lawsuits and stuff like that. They want to make that, they want to make it where if you're going to buy 3 tickets, you might as well just get a pass.
Yeah.
And that's why it's
exactly
like
it.
that. But I agree. If you're coming out from Texas or coming from Denver for that matter, you're probably not going to buy 5 lift tickets because of the fact that that's, an outrageous amount of money.
Yeah. For sure.
So
Yeah.
there's still some deals to be had, the Gems Pass and things like that. A simple Google of it, and we've talked about it on previous podcasts. How can you save money on lift tickets? And one of the cool things, you can go to Copper Mountain and they have like a calendar and it says how much tickets are going to be each day. And there is, last year it was Thursdays. I guess I don't know
Yeah.
if it's
I
Thursdays
assume it's
this
still
year,
Thursdays, but I haven't looked.
but they have cheap days. And just do a little bit of research if you didn't buy a pass on how to save money on lift tickets. There's all kinds of deals. I saw, because I'm up here, I get fed, different ads than I do in Boulder. And I got fed ads for 4 packs at Sunlight and Powderhorn today. Sunlight's right near Glenwood Springs and Powderhorn's closer to Grand Junction. And I got fed ads for like $250 4 packs, which is
Oh, yeah.
affordable in the name of skiing, at least.
Yeah. It looks like starting January 8th, Copper has its $99 lift tickets on Thursdays.
Nice.
But before
That's a great deal.
that,
Yeah.
before that, it's regular price.
And you know what that means about Thursdays, right?
It's going to be dead. That's the day to go skiing.
It's going to be dead. That's the day to go skiing, or they wouldn't be offering $99 tickets.
Yeah, exactly. If everybody was there, it'd be 200.
exactly.
You,
So ski Copper on Thursdays.
Yeah.
you
We're
said
going to test that this year.
the Jerome was a bust. Does that mean you guys are going to propaganda tonight?
No, I think we're gonna go to the Glenwood Springs pool and actually I'm gonna do an actual swim, trying to get my fitness back, and then tomorrow I'm going to Vail.
Nice.
So not often do you come up to Aspen to just go back to Vail, but
Yeah.
Now to be clear, my dad and my sister and brother-in-law are snow snobs. Like they really expect premier conditions. But when they said a lot of stuff started showing through on the couple runs they had, and then I did my own research this morning on what was open. And for example, Snowmass, virtually nothing was open. It was, I think it was all greens and maybe one blue. So they're getting it. I'm looking outside the window here in Redstone, and there's snow on the ground. You could go skinning. I'll never leave town again without my skin skis, because I definitely would have went skinning today. And I feel dumb, and I had this stubborn attitude of, I'm just going to take the bent shelters and make it happen. And then I got up here and it was like, So
You guys took the van.
There you
could've
go.
Brought every
So-
pair of ski you owned.
Yeah, right.
I know. And I just, we had a busy Friday, and then or busy Saturday and Saturday night, and I knew we were leaving early. And so I just threw the stuff in the van and left, and it worked out fine.
Yeah.
I had the right skis for 4 inches of powder. 5 inches, I would have been in the weeds. So snow, there's a little chance of snow this week in the forecast. I know there's a 20% chance tonight, as there was last night, that resulted in 0, although the forecast or the ski report showed a couple inches today. It wasn't last night. It was yesterday morning. And if you don't know, ski reports are usually, they do it at like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. And so if snow falls at 7 a.m., that goes on the next day's report. I think most people know that, but maybe if you don't. So today, a lot of ski areas reported 1, 2 inches, stuff like that. But I know at Vail, it was snowing fairly hard until about 9 a.m. yesterday.
Yeah.
So their 2 inches came in yesterday, not overnight.
Yeah, and that looks like what Eldora is reporting too is 2 inches over the last 24 hours. 5 in the last 48.
So,
you know,
it's coming. I mean, everybody panicked last week. It's coming. It's going to be okay. Hopefully, I would have to say at somewhere like Vail, they need probably 30 more inches of the snowfall, which will turn into about 6 to 8 inches of base.
oh yeah.
So
Sweet.
hopefully it comes soon.
Yeah. I'll report back on how the conditions are at Eldora today.
And so you're going to take your new skis up there. Excellent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. New skis, new boots.
Are they
I'm
ready?
excited. Yeah, they're in my car.
Oh, you already got them?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, they got.
I'll report
Epic.
back
They
on
get done
Vail.
early.
Nice. I'll report back on Vail or Beaver Creek. I would have went to Beaver Creek yesterday, but they still had the World Cup going on, which
Oh yeah.
I don't know that they have enough snow that part of the mountain would be open to skiing anyway. But when it is open to skiing, it cuts the good part of the mountain in half because of the downhill course, the Birds of Prey.
Gotcha.
So I'll look at the map. And you know what? I do want to give a shout out to the Epic app, which is your lift ticket and tells you how long of a lift line you have to wait in. And I know lots of ski areas do that poorly, but at least at Vail, if it says it's a 1 minute line, it's a 1 minute line. And that's super helpful in determining where to go on the mountain on a busy day.
yeah.
So
that's
big
nice.
thanks to them. And I hope some of the other area apps pick up on that, because I don't think most people want to wait in lift lines.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at. I really like the webcams whenever they have them that show the base, which they're always strategically placed. Eldora has one showing Alpenglow, but it doesn't show the lines. But you can just watch the chairs go up and how many people, and every chair has people on it. But it's like 2 and 4 rather than 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. So
Yeah,
Should
and
be
then
decent.
a shout out to Copper Mountain that has a webcam that does show the lift lines at the base area. And I'll tell you what, if you're up in Summit County and you look at that and they're not full, go skiing.
yeah,
no
totally.
kidding.
You know, vice versa. You look at it on a Saturday and it looks like a
It's
music
jacked.
festival. Might not be the day to go up.
Yep. That's what happened this weekend. That's why I didn't go skiing. Everything was jacked.
Yeah, and I the reports I got from Ajax were
Yeah.
excessive out the gates.
Yeah.
And well, it's not their fault. There's not enough snow to spread people out on the mountain. So
Totally.
there's limited amount of lifts open.
Anyway, that's what's going
All
on
right,
this
well,
week. Be sure to
yeah,
follow
we'll-
us on all the socials. It's How to Ski It pretty much everywhere. And we're planning to drop more videos this year. We kind of took a break from videos last year, but we want to get back into that. So make sure you're following us on YouTube. We're updating with photos and stuff on Facebook, Instagram. There'll be stuff on TikTok. So go follow us.
Absolutely. Meow, meow, meow.